Hi, good afternoon, Honorary Board of Supervisors. My name is Mohammed Yasser. I'm an essential worker, work for DPW, and a proud member of IFPTE Local 21, a chapter president for Field Operation Chapter, and a proud San Franciscan. Here with me today are my fellow street inspectors and essential workers and supervisors and Local 21 members. We are responsible for maintaining public right-of-way, make sure that the path of travel is safe in San Francisco for pedestrians, especially with the people with disability. And we also make sure that the construction sites are in compliance, the utility work is safe, the trenches and no potholes. And we are the ones who make sure that businesses in the city follow permit requirements. And now we have to do another assignment, which came through state legislation, which we believe is out of our job description. And we have to work with PD out in the field, and they have had things thrown at them. Our inspectors have been offered bulletproof vests, and they have been punched, they have been poked. This is Rachel Gordon, the spokesperson of San Francisco Public Works, talking to ABC News on October 19th. Today, we are asking the Board of Supervisors to support these essential workers who work day and night to make the city safe, to urge the department to meet and propose solutions to keep our workplace safe, which we have been asking for months. My coworkers are here to share their experiences and what they've been going through on a daily basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. I have a couple pictures, so can I put them on the screen?
Yes, place them there. We'll come and collect them from you.
My name is Teresa McNamara. I am a senior street inspector for the Department of Public Works. I have been an employee of the City and County of San Francisco for over 12 years, and I have lived in San Francisco for my entire life. I've practiced this a lot to try to get the tears out, but here they come.
That's okay. Did you want SFGov TV to show what is on the overhead projector?
Not yet.
Okay.
Thank you. I love my city, and I take great pride in the work I perform every day to make it a better place. I welcome challenges and strive to be outstanding at my job. I have been failing lately, or at least feeling like a failure. A little over a year ago, I was given a task that over time has broken my spirit and enthusiasm. This may sound dramatic, but the toll that the street vendor enforcement assignment has put on me and my family has been significant. My mental health is suffering, and sadly, it's affecting my family and friends too. They watch me cry and struggle with panic attacks that I never had before this assignment. I'm here today to plead for your help for me and all the BSM inspectors. To give a brief overview, the city's vendor enforcement program requires us to ensure that our local street vendors have obtained their required permits and that they're following the city's guidelines for where and when they can sell their goods. I'm sure we can all agree that that's, at first glance, sounds like the task the public streets inspectors are perfectly equipped to handle. The problem is the vendor enforcement assignment makes no distinction between legitimate street vendors and armed people with stolen goods. Our management has interpreted our vending duties to include impounding these stolen items from people who are often under the influence of drugs and often experiencing mental health issues, a task for which we have no training and no adequate protection. You can imagine the dangers this would create for me and my colleagues. This program has become a living nightmare for us over the last year. In 2018, when I accepted
Teresa
the position...
McNamara, thank you for your comments. Your time has expired.
Can I just show the pictures
But we're happy to
quickly?
come and collect that from you, and we'll provide it to the members of the board.
This is what I...
Did you want us to take those photos from you? Happy to do so. Arthur, thank you. We'll come get them from you. Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, please.
Yes, Alastair Johns, Street Inspector, Bureau of Street Use and Mapping, Public Works. Okay, the street vendor enforcement program is ineffectual, counterproductive, and a psychological and physical safety risk for us. Reasons for this include, despite police presence, street inspectors are subject to extreme verbal abuse and threats of harm to ourselves and sometimes our families. Example, illegal vendors and their associates have brandished weapons, including knives and pipes, and in one instance, in my presence, said they had a gun. They approach us in a threatening manner and even shove or push us. Even the police escort doesn't prevent this behavior, as it is even directed to them as well. The fact that the police accept these personal insults and threats of violence promotes an atmosphere of lawlessness, which extends to the entire cycle that the program is meant to disrupt. That is wanton theft of all manner of goods from retail and individuals sold illegally on the street, often with the money used to buy drugs on open-air drug markets in the immediate vicinity. This cycle of crime needs to be addressed by law enforcement both before, during, and after our street vending enforcement duties. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, honorary board members. Mr. President Peskin, thank you for giving us those 3 minutes to express to you how we feel. I'm Fadi Khouri. I've been serving the department for over 10 years with this capacity here at Public Works. My intention today is to ensure you know that our inspectors are feeling unsafe performing this task. When we first received the word that we're going to be enforcing street vending and permitting them, I immediately had flashback to my childhood back when I grew up in war-torn Lebanon. My grandmother had to restore to vending off the street out in the outskirts of town. And I would go play there with her, didn't know what's going on, and see her making a living to support us. Move forward to this task I've had over here. I go down to the streets of San Francisco. I can see myself with those parents trying to make a living in there. I can see my grandma in them. I know that all my supervisors in there have that instilled in them, that we treat the vendors with respect, compassion, and we help them to go through it. The problem we're having is not with our permitted street vendors, it's with people who are not capable to mentally function on the streets, who have illegal substances and weapons, who've threatened us often. You're gonna hear that today. I've been punched once, and that didn't hurt as much as going back to the same street and get taunted by the same person who punched me. We're trying to carry out our duties to making the streets cleaner and passable and available for every San Franciscan. But that's the risk we're dealing with. Add to it that in a recent incident at the port, when we had one of our colleagues suspended, we still don't know why and how we can prevent these actions from happening. Here we are sent back to the same streets and greeted by those unpermitted vendors, taunting us and ridiculing the work we do. And now we have a second fear that we don't know if our employer got our back. We haven't heard one leader in the city saying we will not permit street vending on the street.
Thank you, Fadi Khouri. Welcome back to the chamber. Former member of the board. Next speaker, please.
I'll start off with a joke. How many city employees does it take to handle an unpermitted hot dog vendor at the pier? The answer, 11. 4 SFPD for safety, 2 from public health for the food, 2 from public works for transport and labor, 1 from fire department for the propane, and 2 from port on jurisdiction. No one's laughing because that is the amount of resources allocated this past Sunday for something 2 cops were able to do before. Good afternoon, district supervisors. I'm going to introduce myself as some city employee, given that is my worth to my department in this city. I am a street inspector supervisor at Public Works, and I've been reluctantly participating in this policy experiment, which you call street vendor enforcement. I want to share some of my experiences with you all. I have personally been involved in tug-of-wars with unpermitted street vendors, have been spat on, my boots stepped on, and verbally threatened with some of the most vile and racist language on a regular basis, and physically assaulted while doing this shift, all while my mental health continues to be chipped away every time I do this job. I am constantly being recorded and hyper-vigilant that I will end up being doxxed while doing my duty as a public servant. We are put out there at least once a week for shifts that can last anywhere between an hour up to an entire day. I've seen this program grow from voluntary participation at Mission and 24th to now the entire corridor between 16th to 24th Street, UN Plaza, Union Square, Chinatown, Port, and the ever-expanding areas which you all keep asking public works staff to start actively enforcing. My department has made it clear that street vendor enforcement trumps all other aspects of our job duties, is now mandatory, and refusing to do it will be met with disciplinary action. The public works mantra is to hold employee safety paramount to all else. What a joke. It's pretty laughable when they continue to send us out like cannon fodder with this half-baked policy and safety procedures. No matter how many citations we issue and the hundreds of pounds of stolen merchandise we impound, the unpermitted street vendors continue to grow without consequence. As we confiscate items, I have been told, go ahead and take it. I'm going to steal more stuff and be back out here tomorrow on multiple occasions. When I issue a citation, I am typically denied, cursed, or laughed at. As city employees that is not a police officer, what authority do I have to compel someone to provide me their identification? As someone who rides public transportation before and after work every day, what police protection do I have after hours?
Thank you for your comments. Sir, if you'd like us to take your speaking points, we can add it to the minutes. Sir, if you'd like us to take your written comments, we'll add it to the minutes. Sir, if you'd like us to take your comments, we're happy to add it to the minutes.
And Madam Clerk, without running afoul of the city attorney, let me say that if it were up to this Board of Supervisors, we would go back to the system as it existed for all of the years that I have been in office, until the state of California took away from this city and every city in the state of California the ability to enforce these laws criminally. And they made them administrative citations. They ruined this town. And let me tell you, it is not this mayor's fault. It is not this Board of Supervisors' fault. It is the state of California, Governor Newsom, and the state legislature's fault, and they should fix it. And I've been very clear about it because our hands are tied, and you guys are the ones who are experiencing it on the ground, and it is totally not right. And Scott Wiener and Phil Ting and Matt Haney should go carry a bill to give us back our former powers, because right now this entire scheme is a joke.
Thank you, Mr. President. But before you speak, sir, to the speaker who just spoke, you put your comments in your back pocket, but we're happy to take those from you and put them in the minutes. Thank you. Arthur will come and collect them from you. Next speaker, sir, welcome.
Well, good afternoon. AP, if you can get this squashed, I'll vote for you, because it's ridiculous.
I'm not running for anything.
All right, whatever. It's ridiculous that you have us out here doing this job. I'm a former Marine. Before I came to be a street inspector, which I took the test and passed, got number 4 on the list, there was no questions about dealing with getting racially abused, dealing with crooks and criminals and drug addicts, stealing to sell on the street, and then I got to come out here and put a stop to it. Nothing about that. The test was how to inspect. That's what we were here to do. That's why we applied. Now you got us out here weekly. I had to do it twice last week. Got to do it next week. I get verbally abused, called the N-word, get threatened, have people in my face threatening me, tell me that they know gang members going to follow me home on the 49 bus. This is not right. This is not a job for us. Figure out who the job is for. Take it off our shoulders.
Thank you for your comments. Before the next speaker, I'll just say there is a board rule where you cannot show or signs of audible. If you do support the speaker's comments, you can sort of provide hands. Next speaker, welcome.
I'm wondering if I can have one question before my time starts. I'm wondering, I appreciate that you don't want this either. Does the board have the power to create a class of inspectors who are trained for this? That's my question. You can answer it at your leisure.
I'll start your time now.
I'm a senior street inspector, and I hope you'll judge my words, not my appearance, because I don't want my name or my face associated with vendor enforcement. That does not end well for people. This is more than a 1 minute or a 3 minute conversation. We need our own BOS hearing with our agenda for us. I've worked for the city for over 13 years, and this is demoralizing. I can't even read what I wrote because it is so upsetting to even think about what we go through. I'm wearing reflective glasses because I learned from the cops, that's what they wear when they're out with us, that just looking at someone who's selling things that they shouldn't be makes you a target for hostility and aggression. Every time I go out there, I look more and more like a cop. I've got a badge. Now I have a stab-proof vest. I have to hide my eyes. I wear a mask so nobody's going to recognize me. I'd like to put Teresa's pictures up because I think the public missed one of the most important things is the visual of someone telling her she's going to be dead by 2 p.m. and then she's got to stand on that shift and stay there. And people aren't reporting incidents because it's too much paperwork and there's too many. This is not our job. If you have any authority, you may not be able to change the state law right away, but you need to get people to sign up who want to do this, who have training for this. You have 3 classes, almost 3 entire classes of street inspectors and seniors and supervisors telling you something is wrong here, and yet tomorrow we're sent out again. When we had bad press, they shut it down. How come overnight you can shut it down when you look bad, but when we're getting threatened, it's just business as usual? I want to thank the cops who are out with us on 24th. I've seen what abuse they get.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, please.
What is important is that I am a street inspector. Daily, I'm subjected to abuse, physical abuse, and threats, as you've heard before. The bottom line is this is failed legislation. DPW Article 5.9 and State Bill 946 is failed legislation. The police need to deal with street vendors. We need more money for people that are addicted to drugs and are stealing things. $15 million went to the DMAC to take care of organized retail theft. Many of these illegal street vendors are doing that. It's organized retail theft, and then they're fencing these items to support their drug habits. Those are the people that need to handle this, not street inspectors who were hired and trained to check on permits, to check the safety of sidewalks, to check and make sure that the public right of way is maintained. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, please.